All right, so welcome to our Monday Mastermind for real estate agents, or if you're somebody who's thinking about getting into real estate, welcome. If you're watching this live, great to have you. If you're watching the recording, awesome to have you too. So as you know, we have a ton of free tools before we get into today's topic, and I'd like to share those with you. Number one, we have a website. Our website here where you can actually suggest a topic if you'd like to hear something that we're going to be talking about. We'll let you know what we're doing next week coming up. And we always also post what we're going to have here. We've been having a lot of great success on these things called these open forums. What's that mean, open forum? You're going to find out today. But we want to hear from you. And if you don't talk, you might just get called on. So just kidding. If you don't want to talk, you don't have to. You can just take notes. But we like to hear viewpoints from everybody. Look, we're all in different markets. We're all in different places in our career. We can all learn from each other. We also have a Facebook page, Grow Global Mastermind Academy. You can go there, and we also can invite people there. We have 316 members and growing. And then we have an Instagram page. And then we also, this is where we post all of our recordings. Look, we know sometimes Monday at noon is a tough time, right? You're coming out of all those multiple offers over the weekend and things like that. Well, we record it here. What I would recommend, though, is try to time black out coming on Mondays at noon live. You get a chance to ask questions. You can hear people. You can participate in the chat and things like that. You'll find, in fact, in our chat right now, all the links to all those different locations that I've just put for you there. So with that, let's get started. We like to start on time and end on time. And today, what we're going to be talking about is something that is very important, I think, and I'll go back here to the little thing just so you can see how we post them on the events. And it's been our open forum on how to be a rainmaker in any market. Now, if you're brand new to real estate, you're probably like, what the heck's a rainmaker? We could use some rain maybe, but it's a little different topic that we talk about in real estate. And this is really important, especially in today's changing market. So with that, who, first of all, would like to self-describe what a rainmaker is? Who wants to get started with that? And all these real estate agents showing up on time. I love it. Who wants to say what they think a rainmaker is? Go ahead. Don't be shy.
Somebody that makes it rain.
Somebody makes it rain. And what are they making it rain, Boston? Making it rain money? Making it rain? What's rain? What are they raining?
Well, it depends on, I guess, what brokerage you come from on what they would refer to a rainmaker as. You know, a rainmaker.
I can't hear him.
Can you hear me? No?
Yep, I got you. I got Boston.
Yeah.
I can hear him.
Yeah, so like when I was at Keller Williams for 8 years, Rainmaker there was somebody who would run the team, own the team, and they would be the head of that and everything. I guess you could be considered a Rainmaker if you're a single agent as well. But you are in production and you are producing. That's what I would call a Rainmaker.
I like it, Boston. Yeah, leading by example, right? Getting out there, producing the leads.
That's right.
And then
Perfect.
if you get really good at being a rainmaker, you can leverage those leads into getting your time back, right? Create enough leads that you cherry pick the ones that you want and farm the rest of them out and take a little referral fee, help feed your fellow agents, but also make a little money on your own. So rainmaking is very important, whether you're just rainmaking for yourself or you're rainmaking for a team or a group of agents. Here's the cool thing about our group that we have get together here is that we're all in different parts of our career. We're all in different parts of the country. And so what's working in one part of the country may not work in a different part of the country. What may work in your career now or what you were doing 20 years ago may not be working now, right? So we're going to go through that today and talk about different ways to rainmake. And so who wants to start us off here today? Who is good at generating leads? I would argue we can always produce more leads. Right? He or she who has all the leads is the winner in this game in real estate. But who'd like to start us off? Go ahead. If not, I'll make ChatGPT start us off if no one talks. Kim, did you want to? I saw you on mute. Go ahead, Kim.
Well, for me, I guess when you think of being a rainmaker, we have to have the biggest thing I have. I mean, because I have very little skills on a lot of things, but I have a big mindset, right? So the mindset to me is 90% of how you can conduct yourself to be the rainmaker. So I pretty much put myself in a position where no matter what market that we're facing, whether it's 2008 crash, whether it's like 2025 slow market, we'll always make it happen because 90% I go to God and I go like, Kim, today is the day that you're going to make it happen and whatever it is. And then we'll make plan to go and execute all the things. So being a rainmaker is nothing but a 90% mindset with a clear plan of what to do. For example, if you're a real estate agent, you know your calendar gonna be booked, right? And every day, if you don't know what to do, go and meet somebody. I always tell so all of my friends knew I usually, if I need to go, I go and get real estate started. What I do is I go to a restaurant. I will eat. I will stay there almost all day with my computer on. Everybody come in. I'm pretty much talk to everybody. So that is part of being a rainmaker. If you really don't know what else to do, and there are the different plan. Like Boston has bigger plan, and I mean, Keith and Coach Keith and Coach Kelly, they all do all differently. But if you're starting new, that's what you got to do. Go and meet people, get out, do something. That's for me.
I love it.
Network.
So what we've seen happening in the marketplace, are sales up in the last couple of years, or are they down? We can talk real here. They're down.
Down.
Right? In fact,
and the listings are going up.
yeah, if 2025 continues on the same path it's on, right? Or we don't see anything looking like it's going to come that's going to change it. 23, 24, and 25 will be the worst 3 years back to back to back. I think they said in 40 years, 50 years. So if you're here today, congratulations. You're a survivor. In fact, when I heard the stats that said this was even worse than 08 and 09 nationally, I said, no, they're crazy. They didn't live through 08 and 09. And the truth of the matter is, if you go back and look at the numbers, sales are off worse now than they were in 08 and 09. You just had more foreclosures and short sales back then, which made it seem worse, right? Because
Well,
of the economy.
and
So,
in 08 and 09, it was a sudden shock. It happened
Right.
so fast. We've kind of slowly boiled over the last 3 years.
right. So the key is, I think, for everyone on here is to be a rainmaker. It's a very relevant topic, because even if you've got all the leads that you could handle, but you're good at producing them, produce them and help your fellow agents out. Take a little cut, keep producing the leads, and farm them out, right? I think when we talk to agents and they have a problem, something's going on, I always say, you need more leads. I don't have enough money. You need more leads. I don't have enough time. You need more leads, right? The leads is the answer to all of your problems in real estate. And so let's talk today about some specific rainmaking techniques. Everybody's in a different part of the country, so we're going to learn from each other. What is, who's got a rainmaking technique that they love? It's their go-to way to get business. Who wants to start? Tony Giusto, you got your hand up.
Well, my favorite way, and it's one of the simplest, easiest, and I love networking, and it is the fastest and easiest producing thing for me, because I can talk to someone like yourself and you'll be like, hey, I'm in X state. Okay, great. Now you might think we've got really nothing to connect on. However, I just had a friend call me up. He's like, hey, my daughter's getting ready to get her first job out of college. It's in I forget where in Ohio. I reached out to someone I knew there. They connected me with a realtor, and I ended up getting, a nice little check from doing absolutely nothing other than a 15-minute phone call.
Referral checks have to be some of the greatest checks there are. Boy, mailbox money that comes in, you pass along a name and a number and get paid. It's great. So Tony said something really profound there, networking, but it's such a broad term, right? What are some actual physical networking techniques? Like what's working out there? Tony, you probably got one. So you're talking to agents, or who are you talking to? What's your go-to networking technique?
I'm talking to everyone, and I always tell people, have an elevator pitch ready. You have to be succinct with it. Give it 30 seconds, because at that point people stop listening. If you can hit them with 30 seconds, give them the information they want, and they are, just, oh, okay, and they'll listen.
I love it.
And then, and my
Go ahead,
other
Tony.
thing with networking, I always try to make it where you're talking more and I'm listening more, because let's face it, most people, they love to talk about themselves. So let them talk. I don't need to, brag or talk about myself. People want to know something, they'll ask the question and we'll go from there.
Tony, where are you finding the people? So you're talking to everyone. Where are you
Yes.
finding them? Kim goes, sets up with her computer in a facility that serves drink or food. She stays there all day and talks to everybody. Where are you finding the people?
I go to a lot of different events. Like if there's a meeting for, networking with after hours, I'll go to that. If it's a, I'm an investor, so I go to a lot of conferences with that. So I'll meet people at conferences. I try to go to chamber events, or if you can find like a BNI, those are usually another good one. I've heard of another one, which is Pi, which is basically very similar to BNI. And you can grow your business that way. A lot of BNIs, they already have realtors locked in, so you got to find a chapter that doesn't.
Tony, will you type those different examples in the chat for everyone that's
Certainly.
down there? And then I see Laura, you got your hand up. Laura, what are you doing for networking?
Well, it's hard for me to talk about. I can't change what I say because the old stuff just works. So right now what I did, and my friend Kim's on from Florida. Hi, Kim. And she knows that I can find a deal when I need to find a deal. So I just go into my database. That'll be one thing I'll do. I'll just go in there and start calling people and start talking to them. And somehow I'll end up with a referral. And right now I have two people that were looking at rentals. I just turned them both into buyers. So I'm writing a contract tomorrow. Because I showed him the unit he was looking at, it was $2,000 to rent it. It was $1,700 to own it. And he had the money to buy it. And my other girl, she's getting divorced and her parents are stepping up. So she's going to spend a lot less money, and both of them, and they're going to own. So in 10 years, and I talked about that, in 10 years, $240,000 you're going to throw away in a rental, rather than having something to sell in 10 years from now. So I think you just take a look at who's already there. Stop buying leads. I mean, I don't know about you guys. I've gotten 2 today since I've been sitting here. Can I sell you this? We need an agent for that. We need an agent for this. They know we're all struggling right now, so they're like flies on something out there. They're after us hot and heavy, and we're all so tempted to try it. But really, just go back to the basics. For heaven's sakes, people, just go talk to the people you know. It's not rocket science. So I try to say something different and clever, but I'm sorry, I can't. I can only tell you what actually works, and that's the old school.
Something I've heard in a theme from both you and Tony so far is you're not just sitting in your office or sitting in your living room waiting for a deal to fall out of the sky. You're getting out, you're seeing the people, you're telling the story,
Right.
communicating.
And hey, get on Facebook, send some messenger messages. Up your Facebook presence. If you're not busy selling houses, up your Facebook presence, and interact with people, and go on their pages and say, oh, great, Johnny, scored a run and all of that. And oh, so-and-so graduated. Okay, great. And interact with the people. It's just really meeting people where they're at, sprinkling in some real estate, and you'll be surprised what'll happen.
I heard something really great the other day on social media that worked like this. If you put up a business post and somebody likes it or puts a fire emoji or comments on it, you should immediately go from there to your DM and thank them for supporting your small business and say, it means so much to me that you liked my post on that and helped me support my small business. Little things like that go a long way for me to having success. And I just want to thank you so much. And you can create a video that says that and send it to them if you want to really 10x that. And that is how you take social media from being one to many. Your post is one to many. And then you're taking that and you're finding who was the person who supported me and you're going one-to-one with it. And that is a way for you to make social media effective, right? And It could be even other agents that are supporting your post. And then to copy what Laura said on that, you should be doing the same thing, going to other people's and doing that. So I think that's great. It's a great way to network on social media, and quite frankly, maybe not leaving your couch, right? You could be doing that, but it's doing social media with a purpose. You're intentional about what you're doing. You're putting that post on there, and look, you might get 30 people to like it, right? The key is not to comment under their comment. You could put that if you want to, but the key to making it work is going and sincerely thanking them on a private message. What do you think is going to happen the next time you put a post up? Are they going to like it again and be more likely to support you and share your posts and things like that? What do you think?
That's right.
Yes or no? Thumbs up or thumbs
Yes.
down? Yes. I see a lot of thumbs up. People are going to be more likely to do that. Tony Giusto.
Just to add on, if somebody does comment, you always either want to click a like or whatever in order to help get the algorithms from that social media to boost that even more. And it would be great if you did that plus a comment, but also in total agreement. In addition, send that DM, get that person to where your direct line of communication is up and going, which will help you out tremendously.
The algorithm now is looking for 5 words or more in a comment. So
Really?
thumbs upping the person that said, hey, you're an awesome realtor or something like that does not help the algorithm. It needs to be at least 5. The algorithm's looking for at least 5 words. It's looking for a sentence. You put some time into it versus just clicking the like button. So that's what we're looking for. That Kim Manson said, that's a great idea, Jim. I would love to take credit for that. I didn't come up with it. It was somebody else coaching, and I would give them credit, and I can't remember because I'm old. But when I do remember a little bit, I will. It might have been Krista Mayshore, I think, that was talking about it. But it's not my idea, and it is genius. I'm good at copying people, Kim. That's my thing. I look for smart people and just do what they do. It's kind of the way it works. Kelly Jackson, you're unmuted. What do you got going on?
I was going to say another thing that's helped me, especially when I was a new agent, is to volunteer. Volunteerism helps. If I had some kids, I would make more money because I volunteered at the schools. And so I was on the PTA, and Keith was I think he was the choir dad. And we got so much business because our son was in the choir, and he was the only dad that showed up, so they nominated him, which was hilarious. But we got to know so many parents outside of school, and we ended up selling all of their houses. So I wish I had more kids that were in school because that's a great way to help out and then to volunteer. I mean, this weekend I was at a funeral and the people didn't show up to serve food. And my daughter and my sister and we put on aprons. And one of my cousins walked up and he commented on, keep making those videos. And so if you're somewhere where you're volunteering and people see you, they're going to think of you when it comes time for real estate because they know you're a person that shows up outside of real estate. And so volunteering, whether it's church, school, wherever it is, it comes back tenfold when you go and help, not to get business, but it's a byproduct of helping people, of serving.
I love that. It seems like the common theme here is getting out and seeing the people again, right? We're talking about it, whether it's volunteering, as Kelly said, right? I agree with what you said, Kelly. I think we probably sold 80% of the houses of the kids I coached in soccer over the years. Their parents trusted me enough with their kids, right? They would trust us enough to sell their home. And so it was a great way to do it. And it had fun doing it, right? Yelling at all these little kids. I was excellent at it. Use my dad voice when I was out there. But Tony Giusto says, leave a business card in your check register to the server and leave business cards at gas pumps too, right? So you can leave business cards and things like that. Let's talk a little bit about that. When marketing out there, right? Because the idea of marketing is to rainmake. That's the whole purpose, right? It's to do marketing from one to many to get it to a one-to-one conversation. who's ever heard of a thing called direct response marketing? You ever heard of that? Who's heard of that? There's a man named Dan Kennedy that made it famous. Jay Kinder, Michael Reese are students of him and stuff like that. But it works like this. Some people, all right, how many have ever heard call to action?
Mhm.
How about that? All right, it's another way of saying it, right? It's a message that you're putting out to stimulate someone raising their hand and saying, hey, I'd like to talk to you, right? And so let's say you have a business card and you put your business card out and you got your pretty face on there, Tony, and you got it out there. I mean, how many people call you off of the card, or if they flipped it over and you had some type of call to action on there and you had some type of widget or giveaway or something like that, right? For the longest time, people were doing, I don't know if they work anymore or not, but people used to do, hey, free online home evaluation. Click here, right? They did that program. What's some other call to actions you can use to get people? So maybe you're doing the business card thing. You leave giving the business card out. What would be a message on there? Or you could put this on your social media posts. That's a big thing in the social media coaching that was on there is every post you should have a call to action. People need to be told what to do or guided what to do. What's some good call to action stuff that can make it rain make? It can make the rain fall. You have some leads coming in, making people think today. What's
One thing
what's a
you
call to
could
action?
have
Go
a
for it. Go,
you could
Kelly.
have a giveaway. So you could say you know, 10 ways to sell your house for more money. It could be some sort of giveaway. It could be your home buyer plan, buy a house this way. So having those lead magnets where you can have something to give away. You can also put a video now on a QR code linking to a video that has your call to action so they actually remember who you are. Um, and so, yeah, I would say those things. You can invite them to a free home seller seminar that you're holding. You can invite them to events that you're having in your community. So there's a number of things you can do to grab people.
I know you heard what Kelly said about the QR code. Who saw that Canva Pro now will create the marketing piece for you and make a custom QR code inside there? Anybody see that? That is now
Yes, I
available
like it.
now in Canva Pro. When you create the marketing piece in Canva, you can also go up and click a little drop-down box. Don't ask me exactly where it's at. I watched the training the other day. I forgot already. But I'll have to watch it again when I do it. But you can create the QR code and it puts it right into the marketing piece, all professionally sized up and put perfectly in there. And then people can use the QR code to go to what Kelly said. Kelly, what are they going to watch when they click the QR code? A video, a video of you talking to them. And here's the great part, Kelly, you could theoretically make the video specific to the marketing piece because you're having a different QR code for each one. And you just put your video on YouTube as a private or an unlisted video. And then the QR code directly is to there. And so, hey, thank you so much for clicking on my 10 ways to sell your home fast for top dollar. Here's what you're going to get inside it. My name's Kelly Armstrong Jackson. I've been doing this a long time, blah, blah, blah. There you go. And that is a great way. And Kelly just gave you some gold there on that and something you can implement today and start working that. And you can even do that QR code trick in social media if you wanted to on there. All right, awesome. I love it. I love it. What else we got going on here? We said Tony's got a bunch of places you can leave business cards that you can stack and leave them. I got one the other day from an agent that farms our neighborhood, and he's doing a free appetizer at a local restaurant. So he sent it out. He's a realtor. It's a free appetizer. I know what he did. He went and made a deal with that restaurant, and anybody that shows up there has to bring the card with you. So you leave the card at the restaurant. So now he knows who came. And I'm sure if I use that, he's going to hit me up and say, hey, hope you enjoyed the appetizer on me at such and such restaurant that you went to. But I thought that was a genius idea. It was he knows we all are homeowners in this neighborhood. So he's targeting this neighborhood and he knows who goes there. And he only has to pay for the appetizer of when we show up. And the restaurant was happy to probably make the deal with them because it's driving traffic to their business. So it was a joint marketing campaign between the two of them. I thought that was genius with that. Anybody
I
else ever
like
done
that. That's
anything
really
like that?
cool.
Yeah. If you send a Starbucks gift card, it might end up on the floorboard of the car and never get used, right? But this way of doing it, they have to bring the card into the establishment. It drives the people in through the door, and then the establishment keeps the cards for you, and then you follow up with them. Hey, hope you enjoyed that meal on me or whatever, something like that. It gives you a touch point. I thought it was really smart. Anybody ever done that? Who's got a hand up? Tony, have you done that before? Justo?
I have not. That is so ingenious. You know, you get like with a local restaurant, have, you know, you pass out these cards, you make the people fill out their name and information. What more of a warm lead can you get? Because everyone wants free food, and all they got to do is put their name down. Now, obviously, some people's handwriting might not be the best, but you know, always try and work it. Another thing, flyers at restaurants, grocery stores, and my all-time favorites, the laundromats, to drum up any sort of business, you know, whether it be looking for people who are looking to buy a place or rent a place. If they're going to a grocery store, they're probably not sellers, usually, because most homes will have hookups in them, but that's a couple more different things to do, as well as different ways to advertise.
I love it. Let me ask you this question here. This is a little bit off topic, but still in the networking part, I think, going out and seeing the people. How many people here are doing open houses right now? Let me see. Raise your hand if you're doing open houses. Okay.
Yep.
Perfect. Open houses are a great way to get out and see people that are interested in real estate transactions. And if you've watched some of our many videos we've done on open houses, there's lots of ways to turn that 2-hour window into an opportunity to market to everybody in the neighborhood. We've got done entire videos on it and things like that, but I think that's a great way to Rainmake, where you can go out. And I heard the Jacksons saying they did it twilight ones. They did them during the week. They were doing 4 or 5 of them. They were doing them during the week. And the reason it worked so well is nobody else was doing them then. They were the only game in town instead of on the weekends, when maybe some families are doing sports or going to the beach or something. On the weekends, they'll come out on a weeknight. So I thought that was great on that. So let's see. How about, let's talk about a little bit about the market shift that's been going on, and talking about some things as far as rainmaking goes. What are some ways, if you have a listing, that you can leverage that listing and make it rainmake? Who's got some ideas on that that we can use? So I know people are starting to carry listings a little bit longer, right? We've got, Stacey and I have 11 first-time double-digit listings in our inventory in years, because we were getting them and selling them, right? As fast. Now we're actually carrying some listings. How can you rainmake off those? Let's hear some ideas. It's been a while, so let's see if people can dig deep into the archives of their brains. What's some good rainmaking techniques for listings? You got the listing.
I think if you,
what's the way to rainmake buyers? Go ahead.
yeah, so with you have to be creative and partnering. Obviously, the biggest thing right now is financial aspect of it, and the conversations that we have with those buyers and the people that come into those listings. So for every listing that I have, I connect with my lender or multiple lenders and see what type of programs they're offering. There's different community lending programs. Sometimes each one offers a different one based on zip code or based on the property address specifically. I think advertising that information in the listing descriptions, not just in the private remarks, is very important. It also allows you to have communications with clients or potential clients when they come into your property, and shows value proposition, shows that you're talking to the professionals out there and that you have a way to solve their problem, which is possibly issues with money, closing costs, or interest rates and stuff. And so if you can come from that, that allows you to collect those open house clients and build that rapport by doing that problem solving for them. That's one of the main ones that I do. And I do get even the buyer's agents that comment or come give me calls on my listings and stuff. They always ask about that. Not always, but you know, a lot of times they ask about it. And if they see that, then they go back to their lenders. But when we're talking about, you know, potentially getting those clients that are coming into the open house. That's a good way to use your listings as a way to also show your seller that you're doing the extra work to try to get their property sold.
Love it. Great stuff on that. Does anybody here work with a lender on, this is something we did in the past and we're getting ready to break out right now here in Ohio. Disclaimer, by the way, everybody's in a different state, different marketplace, different laws. Check with your broker if you're unsure, if you hear advice on here like, I wonder if I can do that in this state. You better ask your broker, right? Don't say, this guy told me on YouTube that I can do it, so I can do it. No, make sure you check with your broker. But Stacey and I did this a long time ago. I want to see if anybody's doing it right now. With our listings, we also had our lender had a sign out there. So we put our sign in the yard and then we T-boned it with a lending sign. And it said to get pre-qualified right away, right here, we're going to use some type of call to action on it now. Find out how you can buy this home for 0 down. Click here, or in this case, it would be a QR code. And we're going to partner with our lender on those and then have our lender pre-qualify buyers because look, a lot of the buyers aren't going to buy that house, right? But we don't care. We're just looking for a pre-qualified buyer for our lender to flip to us. Has anybody done that in the past or thinking about doing that?
That is
Or
old
using buy downs.
school.
Anybody using buy downs?
I
That
love
is
old school stuff. Old school stuff.
That is
works
old school. What's
all
old is
the
new.
time.
What's old is new.
Yes. Yes. It's like, everything that we discussed in here so far, if you could take away is that the biggest thing is the mindset that we're talking about. And then that's 90%. And then the 10% is a plan of action to go out there that attack that day and dominate that day with activities that will generate us leads. And that is, like all of these ideas, just take one of those ideas and go to the moon with it, and that is how we get leads.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Hey, Kelly and Keith, are y'all using buy downs right now in your market?
Yes, we've used them and it's still something we pitch. So it does help bring the payments down. So that's one of the key things with a lot of buyers in our area concerned with that monthly mortgage note with prices being what they are here. So they, try to avoid being house poor. And so one option, if you do have some extra dollars laying around, or we can negotiate that from from the seller, buy down that point, and that kind of gets them over the hump to go ahead and pull the trigger.
And also, even when you're listing a property, I just listed a property like 5 minutes from Quantico. It was an expired, and they wanted to lower the price, and I told her, I said it's gonna, and so I did the math. I showed them how much they were going to, the buyer was saved by doing a buy down, a 2-1 buy down instead of lowering the price. It was only going to save them a nominal amount of money, and the previous realtor had them throwing in all this stuff, but none of it was helping the buyer to bring their payment down dramatically. And so we did the buy down up front. There's an offer from the seller to do the buy down. We're not waiting for the buyer to ask for it. It's already in there as part of the marketing for the property. So it really is time to get creative because these properties are sitting. And instead of always saying, hey, let's bring the price down, maybe we bring the price down, but we also add some of these other layers of rate buy downs, et cetera, to really get the price down for buyers, and then market that to the buyer. Hey, you can save this much. Your payments are going to be this, versus just saying, oh, we're going to lower the price.
It's a huge impact, right? Lowering the price, lowering the price 10 grand changes the payment, what, 40 bucks, 50 bucks maybe? But you throw that in on a 2-1 buy down and you might be lowering the payment a few $100 on that.
Right.
And it's a big difference. A lot of buyers, especially our first time home buyers and stuff like that, they're buying payment. They're not buying the price. It's the old car dealer trick, right? You go into the car dealership, they tell you the car's 70 grand, you about fall over dead, but they tell you can have it for $399 a month with 5 grand down. It's a wrap. Sign me up, right? That's how they move it. And we can do the same thing in the housing industry while we're waiting on rates to come down, which, by the way, if everybody's hanging on, next year's going to be the rates are coming. They're going to come down. They go up super fast. They always come down slow. They drag their feet, bringing them down. But I think 2026 is going to be a great real estate year. A lot of pent up buyer demand. When those rates start with a 5, there's going to be a lot of people jumping on that. So hang in there.
Hey, Jim, you talked
Go for
about,
it. Yeah.
what we can, when you had a listing before you had time to, but in the past, you could send out, flyers about the house to the neighbors. And then after COVID, things were moving so fast, house was gone before you could even get your mailing out. But I think you can go back to that, but you could 10X that mailing. So, I have a property area I've got a property in the area I want to be in. So I'm going to do the flyer introducing myself, but I've also done a neighborhood video with a QR code. I'm going to put the QR code on the flyer saying, this is about the neighborhood. I have the information. I'm your guy. And so I'm looking to get more sellers in that neighborhood. So now you have the time to do that. Now the properties are languishing a little bit on the market. Now you can take that once, that little advertising just listed, blah, 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 but really introduce you as the expert, show your expertise with the QR code linking back to a video and really plant yourself in that area. So it's not what it used to be, but it's an opportunity to gain more listings and market shares, showing yourself to be the expert.
Now, Keith, are you guys partnering with any title companies or lenders to help offset the cost of that stuff going out, or how are you doing that?
We have one or two. It's been, put this way, it hasn't been to the level we would like, but there's opportunities there. So you guys have to follow your rules in your area, but we're working on it.
Got it. Sometimes title companies can print a lot easier, right?
Yeah.
For much cheaper cost than what you can get printed. And they also have the ability to pull addresses for you and things like that. So everyone on here, definitely take a look at leveraging your allied partners. People you send business to should be doing something for you to help generate more business, right? Because you're growing business together. Business development, that's called. It's not a handout or a kickback. You're developing business together on that. So I love that. Let's talk a little bit about, because we've talked a lot about generating leads outside of our sphere of influence, but we all know this, the biggest source of business that we all have, and Laura said it earlier, she just gets on the phone, starts calling people she knows, and she'll keep calling until she has some type of referral. Let's talk to our databases. Let's talk to people that know us. What are some techniques to Rainmake that you can use talking to our sphere of influence, people that know us? How can we create some business out of that?
Pick up the phone, people.
Pick up the phone. So you're starting in the A's, Laura. How are you doing? You just pulling up the phone book and starting an A and calling?
No. I go to my database. That's who I call.
Okay.
And then in my CRM in Bold Trail, now it's called instead of KV Core, I will go into my prospects there and kind of take a look at past history or notes or follow-ups or who's been looking at the listings. I'll start calling them, but I'll start to call the people I haven't talked to in a while. Cause we have our core group we talk to all the time. We like them and we talk to our database. And yet there's the ones in there, I'm guilty of this for sure, that I haven't talked to in 2, 3 years, 4 years. And you're kind of making that, hey, do you remember me call? And yet those have turned into some good leads. I just visited a client that I hadn't seen in 5 or 6 years. She's in hospice now, but she's actually doing quite well. And I sat with her for 2 hours, had a great conversation with her. And her daughter's just thrilled. And I didn't do it for business. And yet I know it will lead to business.
I love that. I didn't do it for business, but I know it will lead to business. That's great, because you come in there with pure intentions, right? If you come in there with intentions trying to get something, people can sniff that from a mile away. So I love that. Tony, you got your hands up.
Yes. One of the things you can do is rent out a movie theater, get them to come in and enjoy a movie, get them like a free popcorn and soda. It's going to cost you a little bit, but at least you get them all there. You can then, before the movie starts, you've got a captive audience. They're all looking at you, and you might pick yourself up a little bit more business, on where you've got leads that they're kind of cold because maybe you sold them a house a few years back, but you can rewarm them up and they're ready to go for you then.
I love what Tony's saying, the client appreciation party. These are people we call it not just our clients, but our clients, our family and friends, and we do it. And we have our affiliated partners pay for everything. We got new build reps paying. We got our home insurance, our home inspector. We've got our lender. We've got our title company. We've got everybody there dividing up the costs with Stacey and I, whatever it is, we all divide it evenly. And they get to come and they get a little bit of mic time, you know what I mean, to talk to people. But we do it around a football game. And we don't have to entertain the people. The game's on. We rent out the sports bar. The sports bar is happy to have the place packed. And it works great. And every time that happens, we get deals out of that. And the deals don't come from the party. The deals come from the invites to the party, because we will absolutely blast our email list, our text list. We're going to do phone mail or voicemail drops this year. If you don't know voicemail drops, make sure you look those up. Those are huge for you to be able to talk one to many, which can then turn into a one-to-one conversation of people wanting to register for the event. And so the marketing part is pestering the hell out of people that you're throwing a party for them. And they don't feel pestered because you're inviting them to a party. Instead of saying, hey, do you got anybody that's looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate? That can be a follow-up later on. But this one is inviting to a party. So Tony's absolutely right. Client appreciation party is a great way to talk to your sphere. Who else got something talking to your sphere?
Another thing you can do for your sphere is wish them happy birthday. I have them in my CRM. They automatically get some of them get emails with like memes automatically because I get calls saying, thank you so much for thinking of me. We also use AM cards, which is like send out cards, to automatically have them every year. They're getting a card, they're getting a house anniversary. I'll send brownies from there. And so just thinking of people, some people send lottery scratch offs, it may be, they spend $1 or two, $5, nothing extravagant, but these are ways that that people know that you're thinking of them. And in terms of somebody mentioned, they hadn't called someone in a while, I always use the line that, hey, I was riding through your neighborhood and I thought of you. And it makes people feel good that you actually thought of them. And so, I also engage my database. I invite them to my open houses so that if I'm going to be in their area doing an open house, I know that they're not buying a house right now, but they may know someone that is, or they may just stop by and say hello. So really thinking of them as you're doing your other marketing and including them in it is a great way to also re-engage your database.
I love that. I love that. How many people are doing a market report? You're gathering up stats, you're putting Zoom on, you're putting your face in the corner, and you're talking about the stats that are going on. The Jacksons are doing it. Kim Campbell, anybody else doing a market report? I was doing them for a while and got off track and need to get back on it myself, but it's something to send to your database that's useful and that you can tailor to the area, right? Because what does everybody read? Everybody reads the national news.
Mhm.
And is the national market your market?
Nope.
No. Right? Is the market that's going on in your state your market? No. It's so hyper localized that really real estate comes down to street by street. Really, it's not even community by community. Like you could have two streets right next to each other and they're doing completely different in real estate, and we all know that. And that is a great way for you to send out information that people need to know, and you can break it down. You can niche it. If you have horse farms that you're doing, right? Or you have land and water, right? You have Lakeview properties. You can break that down and talk about that. And what are you going to attract? You're going to attract the people who are going to watch it that are interested in that niche. And something you can sit down and do in an afternoon. And you have the MLS data. You can do it like that. It's a great way for you to rainmake and get out there. And then anybody, again, that likes the posts or responds to it, thank them for supporting your small business. And ask them, is there anything I can do for you? Can I help you?
Yeah,
Can I help
I
support
agree.
your business?
Jim, I try to repurpose the social media posts as much as possible to the database. So if it's a market information or a neighborhood spotlight, I send it to the folks in the database in that area, and with follow balls, I can see if they're opening it. And so I can track the open rates on how effective the post has been or the email has been. So I definitely dual purpose most of my social media posts to my database. So I did one new construction walkthrough in Southern Maryland, and then anybody in Southern Maryland in the database, I'll send it to them as a direct email to them, and then their interest goes up. So I know they're on the radar, what they're looking for. I know to dig in deeper with them. So social media for me is dual purpose social media, but I can use that right direct to my database, and I'm in front of them every month, every week, and it just keeps the relationship going. So they know, oh, Keith's sending me market information, what's happening in my area. He's not calling me, you know anybody? So I just stay in front of them all the time. It's easy.
The majority of Americans have the majority of their net worth wrapped up in their primary residence. That's most normal people, right? That's the majority of their net worth. So they're very interested in what's going on with their property and their neighborhood. And so what Keith's saying is absolutely the case. You're not bugging them. They need that information and they want it in nice bite size. And who else better to get than from a friendly face like Mr. Keith Jackson talking to them, right?
That's right. Hey, another great place for content is zoning board meetings. If you go to the zoning board meetings of your local city or county, find out what's going on. When you post reports on that on Facebook of the communities or your database in the area, they love hearing about what's going on because they don't have time to look at that stuff.
Yeah, I go to the Mid-Ohio Regional Planning Commission. Boy, doesn't that sound like an exciting, big group of engineers and stuff in there. I'm like the only realtor in there when I go in there, but I know stuff that's happening before anybody else. I know where the shopping mall is going in. I know what's happening here and what roads are going to be closing and widening and things like that. And it's good intel to have. And if you're allowed to spread you're not signing a non-disclosure, you spread that information, you're going to be the go-to person on that. And again, you're talking to people that know you. So they already know you, they already like you, and they already trust you. You're just staying top of mind awareness. So I love that. What are some other ways to talk to your sphere, cultivate the relationship? Who else wants to talk? Maria, you raising your hand?
With Laura, just give a
No?
follow-up call after the deal's done. How's it going? Can I refer, any projects you got going? I know of a couple good contractors. Just conversation of how you can help them. And so once a quarter, check in, see how they're going with what they need. What can you help them with? And no pressure, no foul. And more than likely, they're going to want to reciprocate how things going for you. Oh, I might know a guy, my next door neighbor's talking about it. It's easy, but we make it so much harder. We get caught up in the daily minutia rather than thinking about, well, I was told by Kelly and our coach, they're not past clients, they're clients. So, don't just put that past client. They're still a client. And how can you service them? So just a quarterly call. What can I do for you?
One of the best parts about spending time developing the relationship with a client is that they can become friends. Some of our best friends were clients first. And then as we got to know them and things like that, they became friends, right? And so the worst thing that can happen by developing a client relationship is that they become friends. Wow, wouldn't that be terrible? Who could use extra friends? I mean, all of us, right? Tony, you got your hand up.
Here's one, and it goes back to follow-up. Most agents suck at it. And let's say you are the list agent for a property. Follow up with the new buyers, send them a thing maybe a month later, congratulations. And you could end up probably picking up them as a client when they go to sell. And also, if you're talking with a seller and you're getting the listing, work at them to get the listing on the other end, or them to be a buyer on the other end for you. It's an easy double dip, and it's not costing you anything. I don't know how many times I see that where, oh, I'm using a different agent to buy a house than I am to sell a house. And if you're the list agent, or I'm sorry, if you're the buyer's agent, I'd send a thank you letter to the seller afterwards, see if they might need any assistance later on, and keep them on a little tickler file as well. Because you never know where you can get business from.
Yeah. We see people obviously get out of the business all the time. The stat for the National Association of Realtors is this: 5 years from today, 80% of the homes that will be sold by an agent who's not currently licensed. Think about that stat. 5 years from today, 80% of the homes that will be sold by an agent who's not currently licensed. So that means there's a lot of people getting in, but also a lot of people getting out. So
right.
staying the course of being in there. Laura, you got your hand up.
You know, I just learned something from my Cutco guy, you know, Cutco knives. So I bought Cutco knives through the years. I've had friends who kids, you know, in college, they'll jump in to make some extra money. So I buy a knife here and there. Then I have the guy that used to come to the office when I had an office, and he would help you to, you know, if you wanted to purchase them for clients as gifts. And I've never rebought from any of them. And the guy that used to come to the office, I do get an occasional email from him, and I don't really pay attention to it. So recently, I was up in Wisconsin, northern Wisconsin, and they had a little craft show, and there was a Cutco guy there, and I bought something from him. And he's like, "Well, I'm going to be down in your area in Illinois, and do you want your knife sharpened?" Yes, I do. Came to my house. Of course, I bought knives from him. I bought a couple for myself. I bought a couple for gifts. He took my knives, shipped them out, had them sharpened, which I've cut myself like 4 times because they're just so sharp. But anyway, bottom line is, shortly after I get a handwritten note from him with a picture of him and his wife and his 2 kids on the front, thanking me for my business, you know, and it wasn't that much business. It wasn't like I spent thousands with him. And then he's kept in touch different ways by email. He's really kept in touch. And I thought, wow, I learned something from him. I mean, I always love the handwritten notes and we forget to do it. But what a difference. And I thought, he's the guy I'll buy my Cutco from going forward. So what a difference that made, not just the email, but the handwritten note. And he's sending different things than the other guy is sending. So that was a lesson to learn for me.
He humanized himself to you with the family, right? You're like, oh, this guy's got a wife and kids that I'm supporting when I'm not just buying knives, I'm supporting a small business. So that was great, Laura. That was great insight on
Very
that.
personal.
Let's go to, we'll wrap up with this, but the mindset of a rainmaker, right? Everything starts with mindset. We're going to end with it today. But what is the mindset of a rainmaker? So if you think about one, if you're picturing a rainmaker in your mind, what kind of mindset do they have? Do they have a specific plan? Do they track things? Or do they hold themselves accountable? Do they time block? I mean, what's one like? What's a rainmaker like?
A rainmaker follows up until they buy or die.
Buy or die, baby.
That's good.
Go for no, right?
I love that. So you'd say Kelly, you'd say they're tenacious.
Absolutely.
A rainmaker doesn't give up. Keeps going.
Mindset. No matter what's going on in the market, I'm going to make it. I'm going to make it rain. I'm going to make deals happen. So recession, price, COVID, 2008, 2009, I'm still going to make it happen. I'm not going to be a victim of the market. I'm going to create my own market.
So a rainmaker, Keith, you're saying shuts out all the outside noise and they're focused. They're locked in. They're focused.
They're locked in.
I love it.
They know they are it. It's like it has to be me. It's nobody else. I'm not looking left. I'm not looking right. I'm looking in the mirror. The mirror. I mean, like, look straight in the mirror, and like, I gotta go make it happen for me and for the people around me, because everyone else is depending on us right now. The market, our loved ones, not just, think about it. We gotta, how do we keep the economy up? All of us, just like the whole country right now, right? I don't know about you guys, but I love my country. I mean, I'm an immigrant, right? And I love our country. I came here, worked my butt up, and I am who I am today because of this freedom that our country have. So I'm so grateful. And so I take that responsibility upon myself to make sure that I'm going to contribute to the economy, to help out my community, my state, and my country.
Right.
I love that. AI said, Perplexity said that rainmakers credit their consistency with daily routines, some of them being lead generation power hours, where they have time blocked power hours that they work on it, tracking market stats and cultivating positive growth oriented mindsets. They're always thinking about growing. How can I make this bigger? How can I grow bigger? And you don't have to feel guilty if you generate too many leads, because look, you can help out your fellow agents, right? How cool would that be? Whether you're building a traditional team or a non-traditional team. Non-traditional team would be where you just take the leads and you're not responsible for the agents, but you're responsible to them, where you farm out the leads to agents that are deserving of it and take a referral fee. Or you have a traditional team where everybody's under your umbrella and you're it, right? All the pressure's on you. And both systems work great, right? As far as people go on that. So anything anybody wants to add here? You got 30, 60 seconds each if somebody wants to throw something out before we wrap up for the day. But I think that was good. The Rainmakers go to Masterminds. For every one of you who's on here, they're constantly learning. You could qualify yourself as a Rainmaker. You're somebody who's looking to grow and get better and continue on. And that's definitely a mindset and a trait of a Rainmaker. Anybody want to add anything before we wrap up?
Quick thing.
Yeah.
We told our coach we were going to join the gym, and said, "What gym you thinking about joining?" We talked about, what was the quick one?
Planet Fitness.
Planet Fitness, and she was like, "No, you need to join the Musclehead gym where you can network. People, it's a family." And she said, "You'll be surprised how many people you'll pick up." So we joined Gold's Gym, and they have a display with different people with their cards and stuff. And I see Kelly's cards going, my cards going. We just set a stack there, and just being present, people are starting to grab cards because they go there. It's like a little community. So she's like, Planet Fitness is for the transient person. They want to get in, get out. They're not trying to have conversations. Right. But she said, you go to that Musclehead gym where it's a community. They talk to each other. They're really concerned with each other's fitness. You'll meet people, develop relationships, and business will come up out of there. So just in a
20% off to Gold's Gym members.
whatever your Musclehead gym is in your area, if you have time, think about it.
Write that on your card. Sign that, right? 20% off. You bring this card to me. You're a Gold's Gym member. Bring this to me. 20% off your next transaction.
Yeah. So
I like it.
Just a community, where people will see you and not just be in and out.
I love that. That's great. Who else wants to add? How are you going to follow that one up? But who else got something they want to add before we wrap up?
I just wanted to say this is some good information. Thank you, guys.
Good, Maria. I'm glad you enjoyed it. And so next Monday, we're going to have something that's very important. It actually kind of plays into today.
Yep.
The habits of top producing agents. One of the habits is they're Rainmakers, right? So there's habit number one there. You get a free preview for next week that we're going to do it, and we'll refer back to this video on different ways to Rainmake. But what are habits of top producing agents? And I'm going to encourage all of you ahead of time before next Monday to think about, what are my habits that make me successful? And we might even have some habits that we want to drop, right? We might even throw that in there for fun. Like, what are some bad habits I need to get rid of? But what are habits that make you successful? Because life, as we know, success doesn't just get handed to you. It's not some magical thing that happens. It's these teeny tiny little choices you make throughout the day, spread out over a long enough time, that create success. So that's what we're going to talk about next Monday. So bring your habits with you. We'd love to hear from you. It's going to be an open forum on that next week. What makes you successful? And we'll all learn from each other on it. I think it'll be great. Bring a friend also. It'll be awesome. So with that, I'll stop the recording.